It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced, white-knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs. Get over to Joe's today for a little indoor kart racing. Joining us on the show now is one of the organizers for the Strategic Air Command Museum Car Show coming up next Saturday and Sunday, June 15th and 16th at SAC Museum. That's Allie joining us on the show. Allie, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good, thanks.
We appreciate you coming on the show and talking to us about your car show. I know that it's kind of, car shows are a dime a dozen around the area, and frankly, I can never get enough of them because you can't get too much of American muscle.
Right. We love car shows around here. We host one annually. This is the first one that happens to fall on the Father's Day, but we love them out here.
It's a great event you guys have going on, and is this the first year you're doing it, or has this been a constant thing for a couple of years?
So we've had a couple car shows in the past couple years. We've held a classic show the last 2 years, and this year we're trying something new. It's open to all makes and models, and it happens to fall on Father's Day this year.
You've got different classes, and they're broken up by years. Looks like they're separated by about 4 or 5 years each. You can find more information, by the way, by following this event on Facebook at SAC, S-A-C Museum Car Show. We're going to share it on the Front Stretches page so that way fans can follow along too. But you guys have a lot of different classes: stock class, modified, stock truck, modified truck, and then some others.
Yes, definitely. There's over 32 classes. And so, we're trying to make sure that we get everybody in the correct class and everybody gets judged fair. So, yeah.
Hey, for the spectators coming out, are you guys going to have some food trucks and that type of stuff lined up out there in case they need some nourishment while they're wandering around looking at all these hot rods?
That's a good question. So for the spectators, what we have a cafe on site that's called SAC Lunch Cafe, and it's open on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we will supplement with our Valentino's Pizza truck.
Sold. I'll be there.
Yes. And then we also have a beer garden serving beer and wine both Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 5.
Dan just bought 2 tickets for himself. Is this free to the public, or what's it cost to come out and take a look?
So the car show actually is included with your admission. Being a small nonprofit, we use these events to fundraise money for the museum. So when you pay your $12 admission for adults and $6 for kids, you actually get to enjoy the car show and the museum. And then, of course, food is extra, and the beer garden is cash as well. So, yeah.
Over 300 cars are set to be on display, along with, obviously, what you guys do on a regular basis. They can go and tour the museum and see some of America's finest fighting planes.
Yes. It's like a bonus. You get to come see the museum, and then on top of that, you'll see amazing cars. We have a couple really cool feature cars that we're going to be featuring at this show, one of them being Burt Reynolds' personal Trans Am that was made specifically for him after the Smokey and Bandit movie that he was in, and so that will be on display.
Wow, I'm just looking through some of the pictures that you guys have posted over the last couple of weeks, getting people set. And is that a DeLorean?
There is a DeLorean, yes.
Oh, my God.
You don't see those very often at a car show. So, yes, we certainly do have one of those on display.
It's funny how those things, they released them thinking that they were going to be this huge hit in America because of Back to the Future, or it was just going to be a huge hit. But they didn't become popular until the company actually failed, and they were featured in Back to the Future. And now these cars are going for a ridiculous amount of money.
Yes, certainly. And so from what I understand, I'm not a huge car show person, but the organizers of the show that are helping us, they are saying that it's very rare to see a DeLorean on display. So this is certainly something everybody will want to come out and see.
Does this one have the flux capacitor?
She can't talk about that.
Right.
So beautiful cars, and not just classic cars. Looks like there's some modern muscle in there too.
We have all kinds. When I'm from as early as 1919, all the way up to today's makes and models of Fords and Mustangs, Camaros, everything. So
holy cow, that's going to be your modified KK and your stock K class. It's going to be your 2011 and newer. How can somebody, if they own a piece of Americana, some American muscle from Detroit, how can they get a hold of the SAC Museum to get their car registered?
Actually, all of our registration is happening online right now. What I can tell you is if you go to sacmuseum.org, one of the banners on the main page is the car show. You'll go to the registration. We only have about 20 spots left to pre-register.
Oh, wow.
So pre-registration obviously gets you quicker access to the museum, will get you parked faster, and then we're expecting the remainder to be done on site. Pre-registration just speeds up the process so you don't have to stand in line the day of the show. So if they go online, they register, we'll get their registration in and get everything ready for them before they arrive on Saturday morning.
So the online registration's open until it fills up, is that correct?
Yep. Form will close as soon as the registration fills up. So like I said, only about 20 spots left at this point.
Holy cow.
Yep.
You guys are benefiting the Speedway Motors Museum. Can I get you to elaborate a little bit on that, how you're working with them?
Yeah, we have a partnership with the Museum of American Speed in Lincoln. They are providing one of the amazing vehicles for our feature display. And so they're going to be on site assisting us with this car show.
Fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit more about the car that's going to be on display, or are you guys not talking about that yet?
Well, we want you to come out and see it. It's a very special car, so we want you to come out and see everything. If I give you everything right now, then what's the point of you coming out?
Yeah, every car in that American Speed Museum is a special car. I've been through that place. That place is incredible.
Yes, certainly. I took the tour that they do, and it's about a 2-hour and 55-minute tour, and it was amazing to learn about every single car that's there. So,
Allie from the SAC Museum Car Show joining us on the phone now. Don't forget to get out there Saturday, June 15th or Sunday, June 16th. The car show goes on both days from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. As anything in this sport, and with our show and a lot of things in this world, it can't happen without some great sponsors. Can you go through and list some of the people that are helping you guys get the car show up off the ground?
Yep, so we have what we call producers and we have sponsors. So right now, our sponsors include Lee Sapp Ford, PenFed Credit Union, Napa Auto Parts from Ashland, the Collision Center in Ashland, Gretna Auto Outlet, and then, of course, Museum of American Speed. And we have help on putting the show together from the Ashland Chamber of Commerce, the Mustang Car Club of Omaha, Nebraska chapter of POCI, Pontiac Owners Club, and the Road Burners of Gretna. So that takes a lot of work and a lot of volunteer hours and hopefully a lot of spectators to help the show be successful.
And Father's Day, for something fairly reasonably priced, you can bring Dad out and look at a bunch of cool cars and eat a bunch of Valentino's pizza. I don't see anything wrong with this whole deal.
Don't forget the beer.
Right.
I don't drink.
Come for the beer and the pizza and stay for the cars.
I drink for the both of us.
Yes, you do.
Don't forget that, yeah. $20 to register your car if the registration is still available. We talked about it just a little bit ago. Right. There was only a few spots left, so make sure you get your car registered. For us measly civilians that come and love to drool over these things, $12 for adults. Kids get in for $6, and kids 3 and under are in for free. Tax would be added on to the end of that because we got to take care of Uncle Sam there. Where else can people get more information on the first annual SAC Museum Car Show going on the 15th and the 16th?
They can go on our website at sacmuseum.org or check our Facebook page out, which is SAC Aerospace Museum.
Allie, we do appreciate your time on the show. Thanks so much for coming on. Let us know if there's anything else we can do for you and if you need anything from us.
Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it.
So once again, that was Allie with the SAC Museum Car Show. We've shared it on the Facebook page. We'll share it again coming up later today, and we'll talk about it on the 16th when we're back next weekend with the live show. Moving over to the Iowa Speedway Crewman for a Day contest. Dirk, we've talked a little bit about this. We went through the rules and the information, but we can't quite hammer it enough. You cannot get this kind of experience any other way other than through the front stretch. And you may be able to join one of the other sponsors contests, but even somebody that's a sponsor doesn't get to do a lot of the things that we allow you and we're getting access to do. We can get exclusive or we meet and greets with the teams that we partner up with. But I think the most important thing is, man, you're right down there in the grit, in the grind of these teams, and you're able to see what they're going through on a lap-by-lap basis.
Yeah, we get. I took my uncle to a Busch Series race about 20 years ago at Pikes Peak International Raceway, and he was just amazed at how hard the guys actually worked. You know, a car'd come in and they'd switch a shock. He'd go out for 2 practice laps. They'd come back in, put the other shock back on, and switch a different shock, or they might change a spring. And he just saw these guys working and just had no idea that happened at the racetrack every single week.
And it does. And you talk about the series being a grind. I get exhausted when we go to Kansas and Iowa for these guys because it's a long day. It's a grueling day. And then, we talked about it with last weekend with Eric Jones retiring early from the Coca-Cola 600. These guys spent 4 days, at least 4 days, getting that car tweaked and ready to go and set up for the race. And to only complete 22 laps is a huge letdown.
Well, they'd spent, believe me, that car was sitting in the shop on a shop the signs, of Joe Gibbs Racing. That car was basically set up and ready to load on the transporter 2 weeks before the event, at least 2 weeks, maybe even further. These guys put these cars together, but they're at the track, with a couple hours of practice, and they're hustling.
Yeah.
Man, when they get a 45-minute or an hour practice, that is a nonstop hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they go out and run a couple laps, then they come in and they sit down and they talk about what they should do for 10 minutes, and then they take another couple laps. No, the guys in the garage are watching the laps and watching the times on the track and trying to figure out, between the crew chief and the top engineer and whatnot, they're really watching the monitors and trying to figure out where, compared to the other guys, they need to do a little bit. We need to pick out a little coming out. He's a little tight or he's a little loose. There's some problem here or there. And they've got the changes coming in. And obviously they're communicating also back and forth with the driver on the radio. You get to see all this action taking place.
And again, Hammer, and what you don't get to see on TV, even though practice and qualifying is televised, if they decide to make a big change and the car pulls in, they've got 20 minutes left in practice, these guys are like bees. They're running around, grabbing wrenches, taking off a shock, and running over to the hauler and grabbing the next shock that they're going to try to put on that car. And then they're making these adjustments that they've got to happen in such a time crunch. And it is, when you leave that weekend from experiencing this, you're going to have a much greater appreciation for what the everyday guys go through, and the drivers too.
The behind the scenes. And
that's something else that, I really felt for Danica Patrick when she got into that situation with the driver or with a fan that she didn't sign his autograph, and he called her a name, and she went over and talked to him about it. These drivers aren't the ones that have it easy just because they're the famous driver. They're going from meet and greet to sponsor obligation to bathroom. I mean, they've literally got to schedule bathroom breaks.
Wow.
So that they can because their schedules are so tight every minute as they're running around doing all these different things.
Well, the one thing Danica did not communicate with the person asking for the autograph, because I've asked for autographs, and most recently was Bubba Wallace. Mm-hmm. And he turned around, he goes, "Can't right now, got a sponsor to go visit." That's all she would have had to said, and everything would have been just fine. But when she just walked by like, no, you're below me, I'm not signing nothing. That's what caused all that ruckus. When the driver communicates with the fan, there's literally no problem.
Yeah, I've done that to teams too before, where just me. Somebody said hi to me in the pits, and I was in my head with what I was trying to think about, didn't even hear it. And then later on, they're like, "Hey, did I make you mad? I said hi to you in the pits the other day, and you didn't even talk to me." Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. You sometimes you get so stuck in your head, you don't even hear it. And
well, you don't sign a lot of autographs for that same reason. So
right. Well, it might have more to do with lack of interest. But the Iowa Speedway Crewman for a Day contest, that's something that you got to join. You got to be a part of. It goes Michigan, and for the next 5 races, person with the most points, according to the Cup Series Championship driver points rule book, will be our crewman for a day. Plus, we're going to get passes for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And you're going to have
we're going to get them tickets.
And you're going to have a heck of an experience when you go over there. I know Brandon that works with me over at Eagle Raceway has been talking to me about his best strategy, because he was close to, well, he wasn't even close to the Kansas one, but he really wants to go and do this. And I'd love to give him that experience, because it just stinks that we're only able to do it 3 times a year. We want to do it 5. We want to do it 10. We want to open it up and do it more, but it just doesn't work out like that. The schedule just doesn't work for it.
Well, and I mean, we've got Chicagoland Speedway wanting to do something with us, but that's, you're talking about a day's drive there.
Yeah.
So you're adding, just 2 days for travel between here and there, because it's a little over 400 miles, or right at 400 miles from Omaha. But we're still working on something, and we've even talked about trying to put a bus trip together to go over there, but that would be, we'd have our winner of our contest getting garage passes, and we'd probably have, 5, again, 2nd through 5th getting free tickets, but then we'd have to have the rest of the people on the bus buying tickets.
Yeah.
But the good thing about that is no designated drivers or any of that type of
like
stuff.
That. Some of those drives home from Iowa and Kansas have been a little brutal for me.
Well, and I mean, it's something you and I'd be on the bus too.
Yeah.
As stupid as
Of
that
course.
sounds. And if they could put up with us for 4 or 5 hours. But
They might throw me off.
yeah, I would throw you off. I know.
The Iowa Speedway Crewman for a Day contest starts today. Get your picks in, get registered, get your picks in for the race. I want to say a big thank you to Iowa Speedway for providing all the passes and the hot passes for us, and a big thank you to Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners for providing the contest for free.
And anybody
NASCAR,
that's really paying attention and knows how we do this, we have not locked a team in yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We're trying to work with some different stuff. I mean, I'm sure David Starr will be more than happy to help us out, but
when we go over to Iowa Speedway next weekend for their opening race weekend series, that's when
our goal.
That's when we're going to try to open up conversations with a couple of teams and get it figured out.
well, we've got people we're talking to and people we're working with through NASCAR and another guy through Chevrolet, but we haven't got anything solidified yet. But that's our goal when we go to the Father's Day weekend race over at Iowa Speedway, to get all that locked down, so we'll be able to announce that Sunday morning when we come back. RJ
Maas, track champion at Eagle Raceway, and Tony Hardisty, legendary driver throughout Southwest Iowa, is going to join us coming up in the next 2 turns. Then we'll preview Michigan.
Every race
turn
car driver has
number
run
4.
into the
Thanks
same
everybody for hanging
problem.
into the
It's
front
well
stretch.
past
We're gonna
normal
take a break.
parts store
We'll be right
closing
back
hours,
on
but you
AM
need that
590.
one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
Racers all over the country are discovering the benefits of powder coating their chassis. Powder coating offers a clean, even finish you will be proud to show off to fans and sponsors. Plus, it's a more durable surface. While looking beautiful, powder coating offers superior protection against corrosive chemicals typically spilled during routine maintenance. Bare frames start at $275 with estimates available if blasting or reworking is needed. Get your quote today by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com or by calling 712-623-4911.
First Detail Supply at 102nd and J offers you the same professional grade products that are used in detail shops across the United States. With the high quality detail products and the guidance you'll receive from First Detail Supply, your car, truck, motorcycle, or boat will shine with a lasting finish. Find out more about First Detail Supply by stopping in at 102nd and J Street or check out firstdetailsupply.com. Don't forget to mention Front Stretch and receive 10% off your purchase.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 2. It's time to have another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Red Oak Fabrication offering powder coating at an affordable price. Get your chassis or parts powder coated. And chassis start at just $275 for a bare frame. Any reworking or sandblasting that needs to be done, it's going to be just a little bit more, and Jordan can give you an estimate by emailing him, jordanf@redoakfabrication.com. Get your parts powder coated at an affordable price just down the road in Red Oak, Iowa. Joining us on the show now, the driver of the number 0 car throughout southwest Iowa. I believe Tony races in Shelby County and Crawford County, right?
No, Adams County and I-80 Speedway when I can attend.
You're having a heck of a time with tracks today.
Well, because I know you from racing at Crawford County years ago.
I did years ago.
That's
yes.
how I got to I got introduced to you a lot was you racing that track.
Sure. With my career and family things, it's just kind of changed, and Crawford County's just not in our schedule now.
Yeah, a great track, but it's a lot of fun in that southwest Iowa area. So, I see you over at I-80 every once in a while, but darn it, I don't get to see you enough.
No, as I said, career, I work nights, and it's really tough to get out of there. Specials on Sundays, we hit every one we can, and we really enjoy coming over there. You know, it's always a good time.
Talk to me about you getting into racing in your career. How did this whole thing start off for you?
Started with a bunch of high school buddies in 1985 running an enduro car. We traded off, and we all kind of fell in love with it, and each of us actually ended up with a career, whether it was to mine still going. Chris Speaker was involved with it.
Wow.
And some others, yeah. So several years, 33rd year this year.
So where were you running the enduro car at?
Adams County Speedway for the first one, Shelby County Speedway, and Stewart.
Those enduro races are interesting, and they seem to be kind of making a bit of a comeback.
They are. For us as high school kids, it was something that we could get into really relatively affordable, and it was a group thing that we all enjoyed putting it together, and it's what really got us started.
Well, I mean, the Enduros, they turned into the two-man cruisers.
Absolutely.
Basically for several tracks.
Unfortunately, some of the enduro racers now are a little more serious than we were. And as we know, the speed costs money. How fast do you want to go?
Yep.
And it's addictive too, because when you can spend your way to the front, those guys will do it really quickly, and then it just gets more expensive for the guys that just want to have a good time.
Absolutely, and that's even in the weekly racing. The ones that there are several that just want to be there and turn some laps, and then there's guys that are more serious about it, and it just takes all kinds though to be there and fill the field and bring the fans in.
Have you always been kind of a just have fun kind of a racer, or was there a period that you were really wanting to push for it, track championships, wins every year, that kind of stuff?
A little of both. Last year we set out for a championship, and 2011 we did, and we actually ended up second in the national points with NASCAR. So, but most of the time it's been for fun. We, as I said, family. I got 2 little boys now and grandkids, and it's definitely going to change my outlook on what my season's going to be.
So you got pit crew is what you're telling me.
Absolutely. I brought her with me.
I was going to say, boy, could you imagine that you put a car together with your high school buddies for enduro racing, and now you're a grandpa?
Most of us are.
If you'd have started out in late models, that might not have happened.
The marriage, or
you might not have been able to afford to have kids.
I mean, that's why you get your kid a race car, because they won't have money for drugs.
Right.
Been racing stock cars most of the time, or did you race modifieds?
Modifieds from 97 to no sprint cars, no late models. Modifieds from 97 clear through 2004, and then back into the stock car.
A lot of fun. And the stock car class is, that's just a fun class to watch. I can only imagine how much fun it is to actually drive it.
Well, when you see guys like Jordan Grabowski and now Kelly Shryock, he's actually got a stock car for some specials. And, I think and at I-80 Speedway you see it a lot of other tracks too, but to see some of the best racing come from the stock car class.
Do you ever go race with that Midwest Stock Car class, Midwest Classic Stock Car Association?
I'm not that old.
Well, there's some guys that are
sure.
they're grandpas too, so you can fit in there.
Right. We actually did start off our season here a couple weeks ago. We ran a tour down in Texas, and had a pretty good successful tour.
With a lot of these top modified guys, getting into these stock cars, I wouldn't be surprised here in a year or two, maybe if you see IMCA make a little bit of a rule change about them being able to drive those, because it's a lateral move. I mean, they can't go to a sport mod, they can't go to a hobby stock, but they allow them in a stock car. But you might see that rule change before too long.
I'm not against it. If you want to be the best, you got to race the best, and to come off the track and beat a couple of those guys is a feather in your cap.
But if you got to run them every week and you're not beating those guys, then that's not a feather in your pocket.
No, but it definitely, if they stay with the rules like they have them now, it's a good rules package. It's as affordable as you're going to get in any class, and if they can keep the cap on that, that's definitely going to help with some of the, if you get a guy that's just starting to come in there and can have a turnkey stock car and be able to run against some of the best and be affordable, that's what we got to have.
Yeah, because we were talking with somebody earlier about how now $40,000 worth of car is a mid-class A mod, but it's a top-notch sport mod. So where do you want to go racing?
Sure, and you're correct.
I mean, you can find that with a stock car too.
Yep, absolutely. I've been fortunate over the years, with sponsors and manufacturers with help on some of that. If it was for me to go out and actually have to start from scratch, it'd be tough, but it's amazing the amount of people that are out there that want to be involved, want to advertise and be a part of the sport yet.
Well, and you don't know until you ask them.
Absolutely.
Talk about your types of tracks you like to go and run at. Are you kind of a speedway fan? Do you like the short tracks, the mid-sized tracks?
Well, the older you get, you enjoy the bigger tracks because you can take a breath.
You don't work as hard.
Yeah, but I guess I like the tracks, and they all can produce it. Where you're really up on the wheel and and hard race, and just I don't like it when it gets stretched out and boring.
Track championships to your career, have you been able to secure a couple?
Couple of them, yes.
Yeah, those are always nice to get under your belt, and that
they are
bragging rights for a year.
Yeah.
How many Enduro trophies you got?
How many what?
Enduro trophies you got?
No Enduro trophies.
Now, we are talking the Enduros where they put 200 cars on the track at one time and you race 2 hours or 200 laps.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've watched one. Gosh. That was as close as I ever came.
That is insane. I can't even be behind the wheel of a vehicle for 2 hours.
Oh,
how can you do it?
I'm sure we can set you up in an Enduro car.
That's a good point. We're talking with Tony Hardisty, driving the number 0 throughout the area. Always been the 0, or did you kind of bounce around numbers?
No, we started off the career as a number 2, and years ago, a car owner was a big fan of Scott Bloomquist, and that's where the 0 come from, and we've kind of just left it stuck.
Yeah. Talk about some of them great sponsors that get you up and down the road.
We've got a lot of them, and without any of them, it wouldn't be possible.
Oh, yeah.
Custom Diesel right here in Omaha, they do a fantastic job supporting us. Warner Enterprises actually just come on this year. Mid-State Machine out of Des Moines give us pretty dependable power. True Farms, Erickson Farms, Ty Lube Lubricants just come on board this year with all of our oil and gear oils and everything. RNS Auto Sales in Corning, Blaine Service in Messina, Iowa, Joe's Portables, Primrose Restaurant, Aiken Building Center in Southwest Iowa, Corning Winery, Stock Car Body Engineering. If you haven't been over there and looked at the car, I got a gentleman that helps me, Tim Cooney, with building bodies and doing stuff, and he does just a phenomenal job. No Limit Wraps, for those that haven't noticed, the wrap guys over there wrapping a semi right now right next to the car. They're out of Lincoln, and they do an awesome job also. Nottoway Valley Builders, B&S Concrete, and somebody's been a part of racing and part of my career probably from the beginning, and that's Sardison Racing. If you need some parts, Ron and Jeannie will take care of you.
Really cool paint scheme you had on your car. You posted a picture of it late last year. Is that kind of the scheme you're running this year, or did you kind of change it up a little bit?
Changed up a little bit. There's first responders on there, whether it be police, fire and rescue. Just a tribute to them also. So it's something that we want to. I'm a volunteer fireman myself, and pretty passionate about it. And for the people that have served, whether it be in the military, as we display there also, or first responders, it's just a thank you to all the volunteer.
Well, if you're a volunteer fireman, passionate, doesn't even come close to running into a burning building and not getting paid for it.
Yeah. All right, Tony, do appreciate your time. Right. Thanks so much for joining us.
No, thanks for having me.
Best of luck this year, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, thanks.
We'll be back on the front stretch.
Finding a home can be the most important decision in your life. It's the simple factors of neighborhood, garage size, the school district, and commute that get overlooked by most realtors. Those are the aspects that Jim Blazina has been focusing on since 1988. From rental properties to your forever home, the Racing Realtor will work hard to get you exactly what you're looking for, and he can help list your home for a speedy sale. Contact Jim Blazina today, 402-980-8400, or jblazina at npdodge.com.
We all have that coworker that runs their mouth off at how great they are. They shot a 5 under par, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, bench press 375, brah. Wouldn't you love to shut them up by schooling them at Joe's Karting? Council Bluffs' premier indoor karting track, professionally designed so each corner is your opportunity to embarrass your coworker. Call Buddy for your next company outing at 712-256-5278. Joe's Karting, white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue next to AMC 17.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole of the front stretch and the home of MAV TV, featuring action from the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Located on Mid-America Drive in Council Bluffs.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 3. Time to have another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Powder coating at an affordable price is available just down the road in Red Oak, Iowa. You can also find more information at redoakfabrication.com. Call 712-623-4911. Bare frame powder coating, just $275. I've heard horror stories of most guys. The prices start out at $350 to $400. And then when you got to pay for sandblasting and reworking, that begins to add quite a bit more money to the bill. But $275 for a bare frame. But down at Red Oak Fabrication, if you do have some reworking to be done, just email Jordan F at redoakfabrication.com, and he'll get you an estimate for however much it's going to cost to get your your chassis powder coated, or even pieces and parts powder coated. Talking about a guy who probably doesn't have much powder coating on his car, the 2018 Sport Compact Champion at Eagle Raceway, RJ Maas. How you doing, bud?
How are we doing today?
Living the dream, right? We get to talk about racing. We get to enjoy racing and have a couple beers while we're doing it. Except we're missing the beers part.
Not yet. At least 2 o'clock. We'll pop one.
We got to wait till 2?
At least.
But track champion at Eagle Raceway last year, and I really enjoyed your battle with Sean Hine, because I think you two are pretty good friends. You guys get along. And there was some pretty good trash talking going on.
Yeah, story behind Sean is I've known Sean since I was about 12 years old. Sean raced with my dad back in the factory stock days, and I just kind of got real close with him. And then when he showed back up, 4 or 5 years ago, it just kind of clicked. And Sean's he's just an all-around good guy.
He is. And I loved it because, being those last couple of weeks at Eagle, coming down to the track championships, I'm trying to do the Facebook Lives, trying to talk to drivers and trying to drum up some excitement a little bit. And the sprint car guys were being calm. The modified guys were being calm. Most of the points championships were wrapped up anyways. And then there's Sean that said he may win it, but I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, buddy.
Yeah. He did. I mean, it came down the last night.
Yeah.
It came down the last lap. I mean, it was between Josh Young, Sean Hine, and myself, and we all started, I think, 11th, 12th, and 13th that night. And I don't know about those guys, but I was car counting the whole A feature. I mean, I seen Sean get ahead of me. I'm like, all right, there's 2 points. And then with about 4 laps to go, my motor started to go.
Oh.
So I started really car counting that night.
Yeah.
And then I seen Josh get in front of me, and then it was only 4 spots. I'm like, all right, I'm good. And then when the checkered flag dropped, my car was pegged out, blowing water, didn't even make it up to the pit or back up to my pit. I had to be pushed back up into my pit.
Yep.
And then we had to be pushed back down to the front stretch for the championship photos and stuff.
What a great one, though. I mean, you guys really went at it, and I love these lower classes. I mean, people can make fun of them all you want to, and I tease you guys every once in a while because there's just some things that I make fun of every class. I mean, modifieds, late models, I don't care. I'll make fun of anybody. And but one thing I love about it, and I think you and Sean, and there's about 4 or 5 guys that compete at Eagle on a weekly basis that, man, priority one is having fun.
It is. I mean, we're just like any other class. We take anything to heart. I mean, we're out there battling for a measly $60. So we're not out there to get rich. We're out there to have fun. And, in years past, the fun's been sucked out of it. But last year just seemed like it was a totally different vibe at Eagle. There was, you got your bad apples here and there. People have heard about that, with a certain individual. But once he was gone, there was fun every single night. I mean, like you said, me and Sean were up there talking crap to each other. I mean, we were talking crap to Josh, which he ended up getting second. I mean, I was talking crap to Justin, Calendar, and Stephen Oakes, which me and Stephen ran door to door almost every night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just the way the class is. You can't really...
And I think that's what's the biggest thing about it. Sorry,
I try to talk crap, but they kind of shut me down right off the bat. I mean, Adam, I like giving crap to Adam because Adam is just Adam. I don't know what else to say about Adam Gillian there. He gives you a hard time, but I mean, you can give it to him right back.
Talking with RJ Maas, driver the number 88 Sport Compact out of Eagle Raceway. There's some nights that I love drama as much as I try to be a better person and keep away from it. But there's some nights standing in pit road or in that pit lineup, getting ready for the drivers to get out of the car, and I'm just like, okay, here we go. There's going to be words exchanged. And every time the Sport Compact guys, you guys hop out like you're about to throw haymakers, but then you run over and you're laughing and you're joking and you maybe apologized and said, hey man, sorry, I kind of leaned on you there. Like, no big deal. It was all fun and games.
I don't know if it's all fun and games. You jump out, you get a little hot, but then you realize, we're only racing for $60.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't a reason to get a black eye for or get an assault charge for. I mean, it's a lousy $60.
Right. And it's and do you think that helps? I mean, it would be nice if you guys could get paid for more, but that might bring in some troublemakers.
I don't know if it'd bring troublemakers. It'd bring a lot better competition in.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot more competition.
If you were getting paid more, there'd be more money coming in to the cars and everything else. So if you're out there strictly for the fun of it, basically you win, you get your 2 pit passes back.
And that's what this class is for. When they first started this class, it was an entry-level class, which back in the day was the factory stocks before hobby stocks really blew up. I mean, it's an entry-level class, and that's why every year they're trying to slow us down more and more. I mean, we're putting...
Speed is money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at this past year at Eagle when we did that roll-off, Stroganoff deal. A compact won that.
Yeah.
I mean, and did it handily.
Yeah.
And we're putting down faster lap times some nights than the hobby stock guys are. And that's four more cylinders than us.
Right.
And this class isn't going to be an entry-level class too much longer. I mean, you got to spend some money in this class to be a front runner. It isn't like it was 10 years ago. You go out and buy a car and go out and have fun. If you want to have fun, by golly, go out and buy a compact. But if you want to be a front runner, you're going to put some money down in this class.
Are you planning on staying in this class for a while longer, or do you want to move into a different one eventually?
I say I want to move up, but then when I start adding up parts for this car and this car, it kind of puts me down to reality where I would love to race a sport mod, love to jump in it, but I seen the shock package for one. It's like, that's a whole new car for me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's in the air. It's been talked about. I mean, the majority of it is trying to get the crew chief to jump on board, and he says, no way, Jose. So if he's not backing me, then I mean.
How do we get him talked into it?
Win the lottery.
Yeah, okay. I was just gonna say lottery drawing tonight.
You want to sponsor me?
I got my tickets. Yeah.
I can put a big name on the side of the car if you want. That's all I got. That's all I got going.
I don't know if you want
got
my
plenty
name.
of room.
Yeah, I got plenty of room.
I don't know. It's a pretty full car. You've got some great sponsors that help you up and down the road.
I got real good sponsors. I mean, I have one gal I've had since the day we bought a car. She says I'll sponsor you, and ever since then she sponsored me to checkered flag down in Wilbur, and we shoot pool out of there and everything like that. And it's just real good family-owned bar.
Nice watering hole.
Yeah. A little rundown, but that's.
Hey, those are the good. You find good beer prices.
Is the pool table square?
Some nights there's a little bit of a roll to it, We won't discuss that.
Does that depend on the buckets of beer?
It depends on the river.
Oh.
I mean, if the river's high, it's going to lean to one way. If the river's low, it leans a different way.
Not a new car. You're getting the same car?
Same car, just a different route.
I always get a kick out of these guys that go out there and find success in a car, and then the first thing they do is sell it.
Built, not bought. That's all I have to say. We build championships. We don't buy them.
Ooh. You got a little Adam Gulligan in you.
Oh, yeah. Well, to one certain person. Everybody else I'm cool with, but that one certain person, I won't name names, he knows who he is.
I don't think you need to. I think anybody that goes to Eagle on a weekly basis knows who you're talking about.
Yep.
But I always do appreciate talking to you. Sorry I missed you guys' open house.
It was all right by, about 8 o'clock? I was feeling no pain, so it was a blast. I mean, the guys down at Hallam Station really treat us right.
Yeah.
I mean, Shad Roth runs the barbecue down there, and if you don't go down there early enough, his food's gone in a heartbeat. So it was a no-brainer to go to him.
See, you could have told him. You could have told him you stopped by at 9 o'clock, and he wouldn't have known.
He might have been there. I don't know.
That's a really cool thing. You need to do that again. And that's the little things that I don't think drivers do enough of with interacting with their sponsors and kind of putting them up on another level, on another pedestal. You know, we do little things with our shows of going and doing the events at Quaker Steak and Lube and doing these open houses and the car shows, and we try to give back to the sponsors as much as we can, because them just writing a check and putting the name on the side of the car, that's not enough. You need to do appearances, and you need to do fun things like that, and those are the little things that they'll be able to look at it and say, you know, maybe I didn't get a lot of money off the side of his car, but when he came down, I had a lot more people in the bar, in the business, talking about it.
And that's one thing over the years I've learned about the whole, the PR deal about racing. It's one thing to just jump in a car and go to the track and all that.
Yeah.
But it's another thing when you start getting people's businesses on the side of your cars, how you represent them.
Yep.
You're not representing just yourself, you're representing the other companies. And like you said, it's more than just give me a check and let me put your name on your car. Let's be honest. We're going 60 miles an hour around that track. You don't see too many sponsors.
Right.
It's the Facebook, it's the Instagram or Twitter, whatever the social media is these days. You gotta throw names out there.
It's called marketing partners for a reason.
Exactly. And I've learned that. I was bad about it when I first started. I just thought, hey, you give me a check and that's all I have to do.
Yeah.
But this past year, we did a couple appearances at some of the sponsorships. But with our car, once our car kind of gets a little banged up, it's kind of pointless to take it to a business or something like that. But after we did that with Shad for opening night, I think we're going to do that again more this year.
Awesome.
And years in advance, or years more. So
that's great. RJ Maas, find him on Facebook. Do you have a racing page?
I think so. I think it's Maas Racing 88K.
All right, MAAS.
Yeah, not Z.
What's with the Z?
All right, long story short, back in the day when Facebook first opened up, I had a stalker.
Yeah.
And she could find me under MAAS, but I had it blocked to where she couldn't find me under MAAZ.
Okay.
Well, now Facebook's gotten so protective, you got to have 3 forms of government ID to change your name back on there, so I just said, screw it, I'll leave it.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because...
Yeah.
So
I've gotten invitations in the mail, RJ Maaz with the Z. I've gotten T-shirts made with the Z, and it's like, no, it's an S, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
All right, so it's because of a stalker.
What's that?
It's because of a stalker.
Yeah,
you were lucky enough to have a stalker. Well, I say that, but it's not that fun.
It wasn't fun.
It
was
that
not fun.
Okay.
I was more scared than I was having fun about it.
Yeah, people ask me all the time why I use Taylor as a last name, and I'm like, have a death threat.
Yeah.
And you'll change your mind real quick.
Oh yeah, I didn't have death threats, but when you see her looking into your window at night, it's like, oh yeah, it's time to change some stuff around.
Ring doorbell?
Nope, not yet. Well, that was before the Ring came out. I haven't seen her in a few years. That's why I'm gonna keep it MAAZ.
Maybe she's just gotten better.
That might be it.
I gotta quit joking about this.
She's probably somewhere around here listening to us.
As long as she's looking through the window and not sitting on your dresser.
Yeah.
Or on the tree outside or something like that, or on the couch.
Driver of the 88K, the Maas Racing machine. By the way, it is Maas Racing 88K is your Facebook. I found it on your page. From Florida. How long have you lived in this area?
I think we moved up here, kindergarten or first grade.
Okay, so you don't really have a lot of memories of Florida.
Oh, I have. I moved down to Florida after high school. I lived down there off and on for about 3 years.
And you came back because
they wouldn't run sport compacts at Daytona?
Down there, you got to have money to live down there.
Yeah.
And I worked on a charter boat down there, and they have a real bad off season. When it's hot up here, it's cold down there. Or when it's super hot, nobody goes fishing. When it's super cold, everybody goes fishing.
Yeah.
So when it's 100 degrees, nobody wants to go fishing down there. So I was down to eating ramen noodles. I was living out of my car for a while, and I was like,
Dan,
enough.
He's eating ramen noodles like we do 12 months.
It was bad.
So you decided to make your move back up here?
Yeah.
What part of Florida were you out of?
Just south of Tampa. It's a little town called Sarasota.
So you were in the Gulf side.
Yep. I lived on would be Siesta Key, which was voted #1 beach in the country a few times.
Yeah, I've got brother up by Destin. They got a nice beach up there. He's actually a little town called Niceville. But
do you hobby fish?
No, I did it professionally.
Now, do you hobby fish?
Oh yeah, when I got got time.
The racing thing kind of eats up a lot of time.
I used to golf. I used to fish. I used to do all this. until I went to the races one time and then I got addicted.
Yeah.
I was like, it is what it is.
Too expensive to have a regular addiction.
Yeah, and, I work with Louis Pavey, and he's a hell of a golfer, and we can't even go golfing because we're both trying to get race cars ready. It's just like, so yeah, I mean, this racing deal's really changed a lot for me.
It's a lot of fun. Find him on Facebook, Maas Racing 88K, or find him RJMAAZ is the regular Facebook page. Thanks a lot, buddy. I always do appreciate having you around.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back.
First Detail Supply at 102nd and J offers you the same professional grade products that are used in detail shops across the United States. With the high quality detail products and the guidance you'll receive from First Detail Supply, your car, truck, motorcycle, or boat will shine with a lasting finish. Find out more about First Detail Supply by stopping in at 102nd and J Street or check out firstdetailsupply.com. Don't forget to mention Front Stretch and receive 10% off your purchase.
Racers all over the country are discovering the benefits of powder coating their chassis. Powder coating offers a clean, even finish you will be proud to show off to fans and sponsors. Plus, it's a more durable surface. While looking beautiful, powder coating offers superior protection against corrosive chemicals typically spilled during routine maintenance. Bare frames start at $275 with estimates available if blasting or reworking is needed. Get your quote today by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com or by calling 712-623-4911.
Hey, look at that. You're sitting on your couch playing Halo, Madden, or NASCAR while your friends are at Joe's Karting. Each lap is an adrenaline-filled, heart-pumping, white-knuckle experience that you can only get at the Metro's largest indoor karting track. Eco-friendly Honda engines rip you around their professionally designed road course at breakneck speeds. Can you reach the 14-second lap bracket? There's only one way to find out. Put the controller down and get to Joe's Karting, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs next to Quaker Steak and Lube.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Just about ready to wrap this baby up, rolling into turn number 4 on the front stretch, presented by Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs, the official watering hole of the front stretch. Get over to the Lube today for all the best wings and beer, along with all the racing action. Today's race at Michigan will be on the big screens at Quaker Steak and Lube. Coverage is on Fox and MRN starting at 12:30, with the race scheduled to start at 1 o'clock. Make sure your picks are in on time at NASCARPoolsOnline.com. And like we talked about in turn number 1, don't forget to get your picks in for the Iowa Speedway contest. If you haven't joined the contest yet, you cannot put your picks in, but you can still join the contest right up until the race starts, and then the contest is locked. Get over to NASCARPoolsOnline.com or go to the Front Stretch's Facebook page for more information on that. You can also email us, frontstretchradio@gmail.com. Today's race at Michigan, like I said, is on Fox and MRN at 12:30. Let's see what happened this time last year at Michigan International Raceway. Clint Boyer picked up the win after starting 12th. Kevin Harvick came home in 2nd. Kurt Busch in 3rd. Kyle Busch in 4th. And Paul Menard with a good top 5 finish. Brad Keselowski 6th. Joey Logano 7th. Ryan Blaney 8th. Chase Elliott 9th. And Jamie McMurray with a nice top 10 finish. Ryan Blaney won stage number 1, with Kevin Harvick winning stage number 2 and Clint Boyer winning the day. This race, they always talk about races being special and finding something special about it, but this is in Ford and Chevy's backyard, and more than anything, Ford and Chevy want to win this to stick it to Toyota. They all three of them want to win it. Toyota wants to win it so that they win in the backyard of Ford and Chevy, and Ford and Chevy want to make sure they win it to stick it to Ford, but to double stick it to Toyota.
Correct. It's just a bragging rights race, and you've got some guys right now. Jimmy Johnson's still he's showing a little promise here the last few races, but really been struggling. He's on the longest non-win streak of his career. He's over 2 full seasons now since he's won, and he's had luck at this track, so he could maybe be running up towards the front there at the end. Kyle Larson loves the place.
Mm-hmm.
So we can look forward to seeing him putting out his best effort, because he's just having a year that he'd rather forget.
He seems to be having more and more of those. And this time last year, he finished 28th on the lead lap after finishing 2nd in stage 1. I don't recall what happened to him. But he must have just been a ways back and had an ill-handling car because he did finish on the lead lap.
Yeah, he could have had some pit road penalties or something that got him shuffled to the back. I don't recall anything specific. But, yeah, I mean, from the year before when he won at this track, last year wasn't real good for him. And the way his season's going right now, it's going to be a stretch for him to be in the top 5 again, even though he's definitely capable of doing that.
Looks like on lap 67, he went in the spin cycle in turn 4. He was a lap down for a while, but on lap 130, a wreck between Ricky Stenhouse and Casey Kane brought out the caution, and Kyle Larson was the benefactor of that lucky dog. So that's how he got back on the lead lap.
Yeah, but there still had to be something. He must have had, like I said, a pit road penalty or something that got him shuffled clear to the back. Or maybe he got caught in a cycle on pit road green flag pit stops and, possibly got caught a lap down and then had to take the wave around.
Yeah, that spin early in the race put him a lap down, and he wasn't able to get back on the lead lap until 3 laps left to go in the race.
Oh, that's when he got back in the lead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I threw a lot of numbers out there that even confused myself, so I apologize for that. So
that's
he was in a spin on lap 58. Lap 87 is when he went around, and that must have put him a lap down. And then lap 130, another incident gave him the lucky dog, so he was able to get back on the lead lap.
Well, that's lap 130
of 133. Yeah, they only completed 133 laps.
Oh, would they have rained then?
They must have, because that's not a 400-mile race. They only completed 266 miles.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a 200-lap race.
Yeah, so they must have since the other stages were complete. That must have been it.
Yeah, it must have been rain then. So that explains, why he finished so far back after that, because literally it just got put back around. So
yep. So that's let's see, bad days for Matt Kenseth, who was running with Roush Fenway Racing at the time. Finished 33rd. Daniel Suarez 30th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 29th. We talked about Kyle Larson finishing 28th. Casey Kane 23rd. Ryan Newman 22nd. Jimmy Johnson, who you were just talking about, finished 20th on the day.
Well, the Matt Kenseth deal, there never really was a good day in that 6 car.
Yeah,
so
right.
To say he had a bad day is a little misleading.
Mm-hmm. Michigan, the second time we went, just about a month and a half, 2 months later, Kevin Harvick ended up picking up the win with Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, and Ryan Blaney, your top 5. Kurt Busch, Eric Almirola, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, top 10. Larson, 17th on the day after finishing 17th. So even though he is a fan, we know he's a fan of Michigan. He can run that high wide. It usually benefits him. He just didn't have a good year last year at Michigan.
Well, last year was the new body style, so they had all kinds of problems all year long.
In the Chevys, you're right. Yep. All right, so that's Michigan. Don't forget today's race. Coverage is on Fox and MRN at 12:30 with the race starting at 1 o'clock. Get over to Quaker Steak and Lube and enjoy every lap of the race on the big screens of Quaker Steak and Lube. Also, if you go over there, you can request to watch some Lucas Oil TV. They'll be more than happy to throw it on one of the TVs for you. Get your picks in on time for today's race. You got 2 sets of picks you can get in. Your season-long contest if you're a part of that, or the Iowa Speedway contest, which starts with today's race. So get registered for that. frontstretchradio@gmail.com is the easiest way. Otherwise, go to NASCAR Pools online, create a free profile, send us an email. We'll get you all set up and ready to go for today's race.
Be our crewman for a day in July. They're out at Iowa Speedway.
I want to say thank you to Allie from the Strategic Air Command Museum Car Show going on next Saturday and Sunday for joining us and getting us a rundown on that. Thanks to RJ Maas for joining us in turn number 2, and Tony Hardisty. It was nice talking to Tony. It was nice talking to somebody like that. Tony's got such a long career and is a pretty well-respected driver throughout the area and a really, really smart guy. So thanks to those guys for joining us. If you missed any part of today's show, we'll get it posted up on YouTube at about 9 a.m. this morning. For Dirk Houston, I'm Dan Taylor. Before we do that, we'll be back next weekend as we're going to be live following the Truck Series race on Saturday at Iowa Speedway. And then we're going to be live Sunday morning getting you set for the Xfinity Series race. That's Father's Day, too. June 16th, right? That's the next Sunday is Father's Day.
Neither you or I are having to participate in that yet.
Right. Well, I'm a fur father. Doesn't that count?
Well, I'm one of those too, but I know I'm not getting anything, so
that's true.
I'm not even going out to dinner.
I tell you, I'm getting attitude from my cats. That's what I'm getting. Just like every day, I'm getting attitude.
Just like every other cat owner in the world.
So that's coming up next weekend. We'll get you set. We're going to be live after the races and get you set for the Crewman for a Day contest. That'll be a lot of fun going over to Iowa Speedway. Get your tickets in advance. iowaspeedway.com. We talked with David Hyatt last weekend. A lot of great things going on. $99 gets you a season pass. 6 races, 3 race weekends, 3 concerts.
Yeah, always great concerts.
And that Iowa's the IndyCar race going on July 20th. Forgive me if I got that date wrong. It's the Saturday of the Silver Dollar Nationals. Going under the lights again, that's an awesome race. And if you can't get over to the Silver Dollar Nationals or it's not your bucket of tea, then go over to Iowa Speedway and enjoy the IndyCar races because that's going to be an awesome race under the lights.
And they always have interesting food.
They do. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. For Dirk Houston, I'm Dan Taylor. We'll be back next weekend to do it all over again. This has been The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting.
Finding a home can be the most important decision in your life. It's the simple factors of neighborhood, garage size, the school district, and commute that get overlooked by most realtors. Those are the aspects that Jim Blazina has been focusing on since 1988. From rental properties to your forever home, the Racing Realtor will work hard to get you exactly what you're looking for, and he can help list your home for a speedy sale. Contact Jim Blazina today, 402-980-8400, or jblazina@npdodge.com.
The official watering hole of the Front Stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95, and the lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.